Welcome back to the Georgia State Panthers Dynasty, and we are here at week 3 taking on FCS Southeast. You're probably wondering, wait, Monkey C, did I miss an episode? Weren't we supposed to play Memphis? Well, yes, kinda. I'm gonna show you the clips of that week 2 game, and then I hope I never have to talk about it ever again. I was so excited about this game. We had our blackout jerseys on, fans were rumbling, and it was electric. But wait till you see what these fans will eventually see in this stadium. We start late in the first. Rain was a factor to the scoreless game. And Valere throws an interception. His first of the season, and Memphis will take us well inside the red zone. You have to be smart in weather conditions like these, but I figured Ted Hurst would box him out a bit more in man coverage. That didn't happen, and that will lead to all this time Brandon Lewis had in the pocket to fire a strike in the end zone for the Tigers to get the early 7-0 lead. I know what you're thinking. Why wouldn't you run the ball in rainy conditions? Well, that didn't work either. The lanes were just not there in this game, and Memphis was suffocating the ground game. So we'll rely on the defense. But look at this amazing coverage on the outside as the Memphis receiver maintains balance and flies all the way inside the red zone. I don't even know how he maintained this type of balance on a wet field. It was also just sloppy tackling altogether. They would eventually pick up a field goal from that drive. All we wanted in the first half was to put some kind of points up for momentum. But Valere is hit, and there is interception number 2. Their linebacker Drew Watts trots his way for the pick 6. I will say that these double stunts added to the game was a nice touch, but not when you're on our end of this play. That led to a big wobbly pass, and it's 17-0. It took us a while, but we finally make it past midfield, only to get crushed on a sack. I mean, our right guard gets flattened here. It was that kind of a day. Let's be smart. There's still time, Monkey C. Let's play for the second half. Nope, Valera's hit again. There's pick number 3 of the first half. Luckily, we didn't allow them to get any points off of it. We knew this was a rough game from the first half, but it's just a 3-score game. And then, our kicker can't even kick it off properly, and it goes out of bounds. That leads Memphis to a 1st and goal. And Lewis breaks a sack, avoids another, then fires a seed for a touchdown. I can't even put into words how ridiculous and impressive that play was by Brandon Lewis. He threw for 5 touchdowns and ran for 1 against an FCS team last week. Everything is clicking for him early on in the season. And he celebrates this play as if he does it every Saturday. There's something about that celebration that makes me feel worse than it is because of how easy he made it look against us. And here's Frank Pazant cutting his way all the way to the end zone, and they break out a 30-burger on us. We do eventually find ourselves deep in Memphis territory, but it's too late for that. And Valere throws his 4th interception. Yeah. And Coach Kendrick Cook is absolutely disgusted on the sidelines. I don't even want to know what he's screaming about. Maybe questioning taking on this job. Backups would eventually come in. And hey, look at this throw by Cameron Brown off the bench to Sage Reynolds. Maybe a quarterback battle. But on the same drive, he also throws one the other way. And this Memphis defense flew all around this field today, and they captured their 2nd pick 6 of the day. That's not even all. This is the best highlight of the day. True freshman Tawan Payton tumbles to the end zone. It's his first career score, and check this out. None of his teammates celebrated with him. He had to ask them to join. We may have lost the locker room as well as this game, and it's only the 2nd game of this series. I didn't even want to show these stats if I'm honest, but you all needed to know what we're dealing with when we're taking over this team. I could blame it on the Mat 10 sliders that I changed last episode, but this is how it should feel when we are a 65 overall team. Ole Miss actually felt easier, and now we may know why. The good news through all of that chaos was that it wasn't a conference game and none of the recruits were there to witness that mess of a game. We'll talk about those recruits at the end of the episode. For now, I do want to focus on FCS Southeast because we need to avenge ourselves in front of our crowd. I still can't believe we started our schedule against Ole Miss and Memphis. One day we'll see both teams again and things will be different. But for now, I want to talk about Charlie Patterson. The senior guard had a tough outing. He allowed 2 sacks in that game, and if he struggles against an FCS team, I may need to make a change. And that would be Donovan Funch, who's a bit quicker with his feet than Patterson, but I don't want to make any drastic moves just yet with the lineup. And we have another night game. The blackout jerseys didn't work last time, so I'm going with our white helmets, blue jersey combination. But the main question is, how will Christian Valaire bounce back from his 4-interception game? We'll jump in later in the first quarter, no score. Just in case you didn't know, this was a baseball stadium. It was Turner Field where the Atlanta Braves played. As that will be tossed away, that's a better result than throwing it to the other team. Now he'll fire against the blitz, and Robinson is all by himself downfield. Busted coverage, and Javon Robinson is in for the touchdown. We weren't looking for a home run ball, but it's great to see our first completion going the distance. That's one way to break out of a tough game. Defense has been solid as we get the ball again on our next drive. Valaire zips this to his tight end, and Matthew Erickson will tumble his way to the 35-yard line. I find it so funny that I have to call him by his full name. As Robinson hauls it in for a first down, nice route. They've converted 2 third downs already. Can they do it again here? To the end zone, and Hurst climbs the ladder, touchdown. What a way to close the narrative of the last game as they take a 14-0 lead. It's been tough for this FCS team to get anything going, but it's mainly contributed to our front seven's dominance. All we need to do is just keep playing smart and protect the football like we have all game. Until that time, Valaire with another pick. It has been a very tough episode for Christian Valaire with 5 INTs. And look at this guy consoling his friend at the game. It's going to be okay if our defense stays on par. Some pressure being felt now, and Henry Bryant will finish the job. First time calling the senior's name in this series, and I know exactly what this FCS team is feeling, which is why I have no empathy. As Hopkins takes him down, that's a name we hear all the time. There was some excellent play by our defense in the first half. We tried to get some more points to end it, but Charlie Patterson allows another sack, so we'll jump into the second half. It's another third down. Valaire seeing a man open downfield, and McGee drops the ball. Austin McGee has been a fun watch to begin this series, and Valaire just couldn't have placed this in a better spot for him. So it's back to relying on our defense. And the running back Blue Redmond breaks open for a big run. First time facing adversity for this defense. It's only 47 yards for him on the day. Our defensive line has contained their rushing attack pretty well. And now he runs right into Marlon Dean. This drive would eventually end in a field goal attempt. And FCS tacks on 3, and there goes the shutout. We would find a way to just chew up a bunch of clock in this one. And now Branson Robinson takes it on the screen, following his blocks, and inside the 20 he goes. We left off last episode mentioning he would need a pitch count going forward, and that means we'll see a lot more of Rashad Amos as he rushes this in for a first and goal. 11 rushes for 39 yards. We want that to go up, and Amos nearly breaks the plane. Into the fourth quarter we go. Amos in the backfield, and he'll sift his way in. Touchdown, Rashad Amos. His first of the season. It's all partying and dancing for this matchup. And I gotta admit, we really needed a game like this. It's nice to just lay back and enjoy. But here's a deep ball. And great coverage there by Bernard Causey. I've been pretty impressed by our secondary's play in the first 3 games, but still no picks. And this 4th down pass is heaved, and there's your interception. It's the Icy Hopkins. I just wish we could do anything to keep this guy on the team. I mean, look at his athleticism to rip this from his own teammate. He's been able to show us his versatility with how he defends the run. And now he's the first player to pick up an interception. On the other end, we were just trying to run out the clock. And look at the space for Amos, as Amos will carry this into the 10-yard line. Our run game will still need some refining going forward, as Amos nearly picks up his 2nd score. There's no way we're kicking this. I want this. Branson Robinson in the backfield. And Robinson is going to find the end zone, his 2nd of the season, and it's been all Georgia State today. I mean, imagine what he could be if health was never an issue for him. Let's see what we have in our backups. We get the ball back in the red zone. Cameron Brown is in. He'll hand it off. And DJ Murray fights and will be a yard shy of expanding the lead. It's still crazy to me how deep this running back room is. Nice block by Patterson. And Murray will dive in for the touchdown. What a way to seal the awesome victory after 2 really tough games to open up the season. 35-3 is the final score here in Center Park Stadium. And keeping with the tradition of the park, our defense was able to hold them to a baseball score. I did enjoy giving you guys a 2-game episode. I figured when we have 2 blowout games like this, it's not worth giving both of them their own separate videos. Also, it just wouldn't be as enjoyable to watch 2 lopsided games. This would also give us a much better pace to our series. Not that I want to speed it up by any means, but you guys deserve fun content. This also gives me some time to discuss our off-the-field issues. So before we wrap up, we have quite a bit of house cleaning to do. We'll start with Deuce Walker, who somehow during that game dislocated his ankle. He's going to be out for 5 weeks, and that's a huge loss for us because we lack speed at the corner position. That's why we have 4 3-star prospects we are attempting to recruit. Fabian Keefe will need to step into his place, and he is worlds apart compared to Walker. He is a 63 overall, but to be fair to him, he hasn't had time to develop being a true freshman, and we'll need to see how he handles the fire going forward. Different issue, but Branson Robinson is now not happy with our play style and may be a risk for transfer. Our offensive line just hasn't given us many lanes to work with in the first 3 games. And it matters to him that we are more successful when we run the ball. 142 yards per game just doesn't cut it. We'll need to do whatever we can to keep him because we just can't afford to lose a guy like this. As for the recruits, we handed some more visits for week 7, but in order for us to secure Teron Breeze and Ezekiel Lyles, we need to win against JMU or else we are in deep trouble. There's just too many eyes on these players, and one of them is within our conference. And oh my, Terrell Bloomberg has locked us out because of our play style. How's that possible? Our linebackers have been pretty good. He wants more tackles. How do we only have 5 linebacker tackles? Josiah Robinson leads the team in tackles, and Wesley isn't too far behind. Oh man, is it specifically to our Mike linebackers? That would make sense because they total 5 tackles. I would have changed my game plan if that was the case. This is a bummer, but I'm gonna need to play those guys more, and Antonio Wesley is going to have to suffer from my mishap. Even when we win, we lose. We also have 2 guards we are trying to recruit that aren't happy with our play style, and they aren't happy because of our lack of offensive production. Our offense really needs to take a major leap in the next few weeks, and we are gonna need to build up our stats for those deal breakers immediately before JMU comes into town. Oh, come on! Another SEC team? We play Vanderbilt. This is Georgia State's actual schedule this year. I'm really anxious to see how their first 4 weeks will turn out in real life. And we gotta go against one of the more exciting players in college football in Diego Pavia. And he has 99 awareness. This has been a rough episode altogether. Good news is last year they did beat Vanderbilt, and we are hoping for the same result in this dynasty, especially for those deal breakers we're dealing with. This is not like Madden. There's no losing and getting a high draft pick. We need to win and win convincingly in order to gain recruits, and we have a lot of work to do. But this was a funny episode overall, if I'm honest, and I had a blast. Can't believe we get Vanderbilt next. Oh, and guess who's recruiting Ezekiel Lyles? It's Vanderbilt. Hope you guys had a good laugh. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm thankful that we got our first win, and I hope you have an amazing day. Until next time, I'm Monkey C, and I'm out.